What's up everybody, my name is Chris and today I want to talk to you about Podkite, an analytics platform for your podcast. In these last few videos, I talked a lot about podcasting in different ways on how you can improve your show, make it more fun and engaging with pod decks and more. Now, yesterday we talked about podcast review tracking, and there I already mentioned that Podkite also features this exact feature, but it also combines that with more additional features that I'm going to cover today. Podkite, as well as these other resources that I talked about in the last few days, are all part of the Podcast to Profit Super Stack, which is currently available for just $49 and has a total value of over $6,700. This deal, however, is only available until the 12th of November at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, so you either have to be quick, or if you're watching this video after this time has passed, you can hopefully still get value out of this video overviewing the Podkite platform and what it can do for you as a podcaster. Now, one last thing about the Podcast to Profit deal: if you sign up for that with the link in the description below, you will also get a bonus 20-minute free consultation with me personally, so that you can ask me anything podcast related that you might want to talk about. So take up that deal and let's meet for a quick chat. With that said, let's jump over to the screen with the Podkite starter kit in the info stack. This is specifically what is in the info stack. You can see you get 6 months access to the starter kit basically, which gives you access to a certain set of features. And you can already see there that you can have different features available here. For example, they're featuring easily share 10+ listening apps with one click. This is basically having one link that then shows the person a lot of different ways how they can subscribe to your show. You can also have a link that shares directly to an episode, get more subscribers with those kind of trackable and more informative links that they have, and of course track your reviews as well as more charts from all over the world. Now, this is different from yesterday's platforms, which only track your podcast reviews on other platforms, but this here actually tracks your reviews in addition to the chart placement of your show, so that you know which category performs well for you and in which category you are in the charts and at what placement. But I think it's time to jump over to the website to also have a look there. Now, for the most part, they are marketing this as an analytics platform, basically. They provide separate links as well as tracking data, and you can already see that this can be really interesting. Now, similarly to the other apps, this also provides you with a weekly email, which not only includes the reviews, but also includes your ranking and an update whether you are falling or rising in the rank. And this is specific to the country as well as the category, as you can see right here. Now, all of these features are basically put together and explained on these different pages here, which are the Kitelinks explanation of how the reviews work, as well as the podcast player optimization and how there is the search tracking as well as search term comparison, how you are performing for different search terms, as well as overall market intelligence. But I think it's also valuable to look into the pricing here, which basically tells you what you get specifically in the Podcast to Profit deal, but also whether you want to upgrade or not. Now, interestingly enough, they also feature a free plan, and I love free plans because it means that someone who is just starting out can already use this with a certain set of features and get to know the platform as well as get these valuable services, or at least a subsection of them. Something that, for example, you get with the free link already is the review tracking, specifically for Apple Podcast, Podcaster, and Stitcher. This does not include an insights dashboard or anything like that. However, later in the video, you will see how that looks and how you can already start using this. Basically, they are already giving you the feature set that the other platforms are charging for completely for free for up to one show. So that's really amazing. Now, other features that you also get, for example, are some of the podcast links as well as episode links. However, that's also limited to the number of links that you can create every single month. And of course, you also have a limited amount of charts, in this case for 30-day limits, for example, for Apple Podcast and for Google Podcast. Those other platforms are not included here, which you only get for upgrading your plan. However, in the Podcast to Profit info stack, you get the starter plan for 6 months. So that basically gives you a good starting point for you as you are growing your podcast, trying out this platform for 6 months and seeing how it works for you. Within that plan, you, for example, get the tracking of search terms, which helps you know which search terms you are actually being found for. And if you want to rank for a certain search term, you also can see how high you are being ranked when people are searching for a certain term. Then you have more of the Kitelink features, and you can see those on the website here. You have more charts available as well, and the review tracking is with the tagging, sorting, insight dashboards, and those kind of things. And of course, you have support options, and in this case, they also help you via chat and email, which can be quite helpful if you don't actually know or understand how something is being set up or needs to be set up. Now, I want to jump over to the actual interface, and this here again is the Show and Body podcast with Candice Wu that I am editing and also have produced with her for the duration of the whole show. And this is the example that I have right here that also has some information available. So as you can see, we have the ranked categories. This is basically after setting this up. You have the different links there, and you get the settings, how often you want to be sent those emails. Then, of course, you have the latest top ranks. So in this case, for example, she's ranking in South Korea on number 6 in the category of health and fitness, alternative health, and in the number 222 in Australia, also health and fitness, alternative health. And then we have the rankings of all platforms. In this case, on Apple Podcasts, she's ranked in 11 countries in 2 categories, and you have the latest reviews. Now, going over to the dashboard, you can see that this is actually something that you only get if you are using one of the growth plans. Then we have the charts overview, where you can see your rankings in different categories over time, so that you can also see how it is being changed. And you can also have a whole overlook down here where you can see, okay, we are in Australia, alternative health 222, which is a change of 8 down from the comparison, and so on and so forth. So this is actually really interesting information about these different category rankings and also how it is performing in separate countries. Then we also have the export, which is again a feature in a paid plan. The discoverability dashboard is something that is specifically interesting for this podcast player tracking. And this is something where they have the search term competition, for example, where you can see this is, for example, for the search term winner, these shows are being found. And then you can see whether or not your show is within that, and also which placement your show may have. And you can basically try to improve your search term ranking by using these analytics to know whether or not you are being found for the right terms. If you want to do something there, if you have something where you want to have more mentions in the description, in the tags, maybe your category rankings and such things. And then, of course, we also have the reviews tab. And as mentioned, this is actually something that is free for all the plans, so that you can just start using this even without paying for Podkite in the beginning. And you can sort by the platform. So you have Podchaser, you have Stitcher and Apple Podcast, and you can see the reviews per platform. You can also tag and heart your reviews here, but that's something that is only in the paid platform. But what I find really cool here is that you get the reviews ready to go. You have them to be read by yourself, and you get those notification emails once per week about new reviews that have come in for your show. So if you just want to start tracking those and get to know when there are new reviews in different countries on different platforms, then this is a really helpful tool. And not just that, they also include a feature which helps you basically make those also kind of a graphic, so that you can use those to share on social media. So for example, here I can click on share this review, and what is happening here is that it's actually generating a Facebook preview, generating Twitter preview image, LinkedIn and Instagram image, as well as a link. So if I click the link here and I open this up, then you can see this is basically a website that is created for you so that you can share this specific review. And they also highlight the podcast show that this review is giving for. So this is an interesting, nice little mini website, so to say. But not just that, you also get those images, and with those you basically have a link that you can open or download, and then you have an image that got downloaded. And this is how this image actually looks, and you can just take this and upload that to Instagram. Instagram, and it would be a really nice post. It's in the 1x1 format, which is perfect for Instagram, and you can share this so that other people know what others think about your show. And these are completely automatically generated so that you have a really easy time just sharing those with your audience, with your community, and having that spread out there. Now lastly, there's also Kitelinks. Kitelinks are a really interesting tool for podcasters, and there are many different versions of this out there, but this is, I think, really a good implementation. And basically, this helps you share your podcast or specific episodes with your listeners and have them ready to go on separate platforms, which is especially important for something like podcasts, which is not just like YouTube, where it's like you have one platform where your video is hosted and everybody has to go there. With podcasts, people are using different apps and different players. So we have Spotify, we have Apple Podcasts, we have Google Podcasts, but not just that, you also have Overcast as well as other podcast players that are in this ecosystem. And with these Kitelinks, you basically have a version of a link that you can create for yourself. And I'm just gonna create a random one right here. And once I have created this, you will see that I can now go to this URL that I just created here. And I basically can just kitelink/embody. And what you see here now is basically a website that helps me subscribe to this show on all kinds of different podcasting platforms. So I can just click, for example, on Overcast right here, and I'm going to be brought over to the podcast on Overcast. And there I can listen to specific episodes and subscribe as well. Now, if I were to be on a phone and I opened the Kite link on my phone, then this would open Overcast and bring me to that podcast in that application. The same thing with Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Whichever app you are using on your phone, those links would be opened in those applications. And that's, I think, really cool because it makes sharing your podcast really simple and you don't have to do that manually on your website, and they just do it for you. Now, if you are on one of the paid plans, you also get a link which is reviewthispodcast.com and then your Kitelink short link. And there you get an explanation of why it's important to review podcasts, as well as the helpful steps, or kind of like a step-by-step guide for your listeners so that they know how you can actually leave that review very easily. So that's really helpful so that you can encourage your people to leave more reviews so that you can grow in the rankings and also rise there. Once you have used this link for a while, you also have the click analytics right here, where you can basically see how many people have in total clicked this link in a certain time frame, as well as more data about countries and also from where they're coming and which player they are choosing based on this site that they just saw, basically giving you information about whether they are using Apple Podcast or Overcast or something like that. And that way you just have more data about your users, and that always helps a little bit to kind of like get to know how they are behaving and where you might want to focus more and where maybe it's time to focus less. Now, I think this is a great tool, especially since they are offering that free plan for you so that you can start tracking your podcast rank as well as your reviews and get that email once a week so that you know what's going on with your show. Now, if you're watching this video before 12th of November 2020, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, then you can still get that deal for $49 for the Podcast to Profit Super Stack. In this deal, you get this one here for 6 months in the starter plan, as well as over 15 online classes, master classes about podcasting and how you can make more profit. Again, there's also this bonus if you sign up with my link that you get a 20-minute consultation with me, which is usually valued around $80. Now, with all that said, I hope you try out Podkite for yourself and see how you are performing in separate countries in your categories and if your people are leaving reviews. If this video was helpful for you, then I would appreciate a thumbs up so that other people may find this information as well. And if you have any questions, you can leave those in the comment section down below. Of course, also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I hope you have an amazing podcast journey, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao.